on behalf of the National Unity Club, let's say the international arm of the National Unity Club, on a snowy day in Moscow. I am Pepe Escobar, geopolitical analyst, and I could not be more pleased and honored because we have an extraordinary guest tonight, and on a moment that is quite ominous and difficult. Context. This is Thursday, early evening in Moscow, and we have privileged information that is leading us to believe that there may be an American attack on Iran as early as this Thursday night, or maybe Friday night, or as it's being discussed in Washington, there's going to be a long weekend. So Lieutenant General Apti Alaudinov, I don't even pretend to introduce you to him. He's a hero of the Russian Federation. It's an enormous honor for us foreigners to talk to Lieutenant General Apti live. And from the point of view of a Western audience, this is beyond precious, because you won't see this anywhere else in the world. So I was, of course, thinking of starting the conversation about the 4 years of the SVO, obviously. But considering that Lieutenant General Apti is a military man of the highest caliber, I need to ask him something that is very ominous for Iran, for many aspects, for Russia, China, and the BRICS, and for the world at large. If it's confirmed, this information circulating among Pentagon and CIA circles in Washington today, this Thursday, that there may be an imminent American attack on Iran. It could probably be an attempt of a decapitation strike. This means directed against the leadership of the Islamic Republic, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. So, Lieutenant General Apti, if you allow me, as a military man, is there any sense whatsoever, from a military point of view, of this Trump-enabled massive armada trying to attack Iran, when any of us who have been following Iran's military prowess these past few years especially know that this time the response is going to be devastating, and it could include a humiliation of the United States? Many thanks.
First of all, Pepe, I want to greet you here and all the viewers that see us, listen to us, watch us. The question for today, probably this is not the worst that we can get, because what America plans for us, it's not news. We understood that sooner or later it will happen because we see through, we see the territory, we understand the East. This time was escalating, and it becomes very interesting to see, do we need to do it at all? Do they need to do it at all? Let's take a look at America itself. It's somewhere far away, right? Across the ocean. So there is no threat to America from Iran. So who is the initiator of this war? The initiator is Israel. Israel takes out the states that are around Israel. And we have seen how Israel started the war with America in Iraq, Syria, Libya. All these events took place, we watched them all. And Netanyahu absolutely clearly, he didn't hide it. He said that it is his goal, it is his objective to start 5 wars, to take out 5 states. At the present moment, we understand that Iran is one of the most military organized and consolidated states that we have in the East. This is the only state that is not NATO ally, neither nor America ally. So it so happens that for a long time, trying for a long time to break Iran, make it kneel down. Israel, together with America, were trying to do some activities. One was, what, 12-day war? Israel got in thinking that Iran will not be fighting. Indeed, Israel has prepared this operation greatly. Military leaders were killed. And after that, all of us remember how Netanyahu called the people of Iran, the brave people of Iran, to lift up and take out the power. Instead of going to what Israel proposed, Iranian people got united, and they gave such an answer that Israel couldn't hold. And the people of Israel started asking, why do we need that? Because they started getting the rockets. So in this case, we see that there were a few acts. First act, second act, then at the Iran's territory, they started their own sleeping cells that have raised up the, we have to correctly say that, not the population, but those in their agent network, destructive, together with it. They lifted up the people who were trying to break the situation from the inside. We see Iran held even that. Now, for America and Israel, they try to take out Iran. There's no other way than the military way to destroy the state. We saw that some people wanted to have negotiations with Iranians, but what are the conditions? Almost impossible. The state almost has to give out their own sovereignty to America, get on the knees and say, please, master, what would you like? Iran did not agree to that. In these questions, I am very surprised to the worldly leaders, society itself, how ruthless they look at how this NATO bloc works under America, how they act by Israel pushes them, and how they react with peace. Nobody says anything, so the people look with peace how the World War III starts. It will for surely go into the nuclear war. All that we see, this was all calculated in. We know the results. Same thing, we look, quietness at the world arena. Nobody strikes, nobody protests against America. So, of course, I think that they can do that because it would bring heavy circumstances, heavy results. Iran is a state that is ready to fight, and they will fight. And in this context, I see that Russia has to throw away its negotiations, as what we call, where we're tried to be, cheated and lied. Oh no, we're friends with you, but we're just having fight with Iran. We have to understand what we're gonna get. Our country, our ally in this war is Iran, because as soon as Iran will finish up, they will take care of Russia. And it will be a direct fight. No question about that. They're gonna throw it out. I think that if we look at it this way, the American leadership is very dangerous for the whole world, for the whole humanity, and I do hope that the world society would think, wake up, and start kind of stopping their ally, either step away from America or something like that. We hope the healthy mind will take over.
From a military point of view, would you say that the Russian interconnection with the Iranian military is at the highest level? This is something that many of us, this past 2 years, even before they signed the final strategic partnership, Iranian delegations coming to Moscow, when we asked them about negotiations with the Russians, they said, excellent. They said, anything you need, you can get it. And the Iranians said to the Russians, anything you need, you can get it. So we always assume that the negotiations and the interconnections is at the highest level. Is it?
Look, Iran is historically ally of Russia. Being an ally of Russia, Iran held Russian part in every situation. To say that what would be the actions from the head of the Russia, I don't have such right to, I cannot say anything like that, but at the same time I can guarantee you that military leadership of Russia and leadership as a total one, they support Iran in every major act. And I think that in this war, and this war will take place, Russia will be at the part of Iran. There are some maneuvers that America can do. When America is trying to, Trump say, is trying to make us feel better, oh no, tomorrow we're gonna have negotiations, we'll finish up, we'll have a peace resolution at Ukraine, we're gonna trade, we'll take off sanctions from you. It's clear that it's not just myself, but everybody understands that this is a game that is absolutely will bring to nothing. And of course, as a military specialist, I can say from my position that after Iran, there will be Russia. There will be Russia, and I think everybody's crystal clear on that. I think that Russia would support the Iran territory.
Because after all, this is only one war, subdivided in different fronts. The war of the Americas and the international Zionist system against Iran is very similar to the war, the proxy war in Ukraine by Zionists as well, and by the Americans and Europeans against Russia. It's the same war, right? And it's a war against BRICS. So my question to you is very simple. Is it a waste of time, these negotiations in Oman, which obviously went nowhere? That's why the Trump administration is, Trump himself is considering, should I attack now or later? The same could be said of negotiations in Geneva, where you have Budanov sitting on the table on one side, and you have a very able Russian negotiator on the other side. It doesn't make sense at all. And we know that this is a kabuki. Né? It's a play. It's not going anywhere. So these negotiations are a waste of time, as you see them.
Look, we have to understand for ourselves one part, that Russia, as a state, it always kept the agreements that was agreeing to. We as a state, if we are offered a solution, we do not refuse ever. The Russian leadership says we never have we never walked away from any negotiations. Of course, the right thing when you know that nothing will work out from these negotiations, just because if Russian side would say that we're not gonna do what they say, they would continue throw dirt on us. See, they don't want to have negotiations. See, they want to go in for war. Though in the very beginning we understand that in every way possible we were trying to have agreement. And America and NATO bloc, Europe, EU, they did everything possible to bring it to war. So we see this SVO that takes part now for 4 years. The actions of these states serve the war. To say that America has another president, this is why the war happened now. That's the fairy tale. Why? Because Trump was before that. Then how come he didn't solve the situation with the Minsk agreements? How come he didn't do that? This war would not exist at all when he was a president. So this is all political game when they say from one hand to another. And they say, oh, these are bad or those are bad, and myself, I'm great. So in this case, we understand that the negotiations are needed. You can have an agreement, even for the world leaders to see that we are not the state that is trying to get the war or escalation. Of course, they will blame us in this, but at the same time, those that want to see the truth, they will see the truth. The negotiations should be, we have to lead them parallel, and we have to be prepared what is getting ready for us. To think that our enemy, that we would feel good or that we would have a better life. Of course it's not true. And Iran and Russia both, and I have spoken about that, it's the two countries that are in one boat. The war today turns out against, as you said, against BRICS. We're very close to BRICS to work on an international currency and walk away from dollar, and that's death for America. And of course, the interest of Israel, the Zionist state that is highly interested to take away all the strong neighbors that exist in the East. So in this matter, America helps them, and they have everything together with these questions and this interest, total interest. They step by step, they're taking out all the states, and to be number one. Number one should be America, Trump, but in reality, we see that Israel is under all the processes. These are the questions that we have to understand, that this management is done by Israel. This is the question about Epstein files. These all states, they're sitting fully on a button with this state because it brought the best operation ever on hiring the agents or to getting all these people on a chain, and the people that were at least solving something.
Israel and Russia, they have a very complex relationship. And it's something that for us foreigners, we don't see a lot of public discussion in Russia about how Russia could be much more forceful vis-a-vis what Israel is trying to do in West Asia. And now we may come to a situation where the Israeli lobby, which is very strong in Russia, supporting an attack against Iran, which is an ally of Russia. That complicates even more the general equation. Is there a clear-cut Putin or Ministry of Defense or both vision on how to deal or how to circumscribe Israel in West Asia, because they are completely out of control, as you know very well. They are invading, bombing, annexing, conducting genocide, you name everything in one package. And there's no reaction. And now they are forcing the government of the United States to launch a war, which even Trump is reluctant, even if he doesn't know the facts, but obviously he's looking at around it and now this is not as clear-cut as I think it is. And the risk of an American humiliation, if everything goes wrong, and it will go wrong if they launch an attack, they can be horribly humiliated. You'll be the Houthis in the galaxy in terms of humiliation.
Whatever it would be, America in this case is really truly getting into the war that is not, you know, they can't pull it out, or it's going to be very hard. If we talk about Israel lobby, then we need to understand clearly that people today are divided into two camps. The camp with Russia, they have Jews. Not all Jews support Netanyahu. Not all Jews agree to what they do at the Palestine territory. Not all Jews want the war with Iran. Jews as a nation, they're the same kind of situation as the nations of Israel, Iran, and other countries. The point is that the top of the states, they are taken over by the people who have no influence on themselves to say that this is what I want, I'll do it that way. They're told what they need to do. And of course, it's hard that some politicians, they want to tell the truth. At the same time, they understand that there would be a political losses later on. The same situation with Israel. Israel's lobby, there is a lobby against the war. The lobby that is for Russia. They understand the healthy mind. And there is a lobby that is Zionist, and they just have a situation to kill this and take away everything. And they see it only us. It's clear for us, we have to understand that we have to not let happen these events. They trying to influence some. And some people don't want to hear this situation, and this major blowout happened. Epstein files, and you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what they did. And I can assure you that these beautiful, great politicians, including Trump, they are all sitting in this phone. They were all on the hook. And if it is not so, to speak that I have finished 8 wars, a great President Trump, what war did you finish? What was that war? If you know, tell me, because I have not noticed one. I do the analysis, I look at the whole world, I have not seen that any war was stopped by America. They stopped the people, that right now they don't need them. But not in one place where there is an American interest. They didn't stop one war. Instead, they are the initiators of the beginning of the war. So why do they do that? We have to understand that they're trying to choke us, and they think that just America has the right to require what is good for them. The others have to kneel down and worship this idol. I don't think it will take place. The world is different now. The world is on the edge when America, in the nearest years, they will see that its policies it brought her into condition where it just fell apart as a state. It's very close to it. Now, when everything is well, it's kind of quiet. Now they get into this war, and when they see the circumstances, the post results, I don't think people of America will be happy about that.
Oh, definitely. We already know that. The problem is they are being misled by false information. I was discussing this with Larry Johnson. The degree of brainwashing, not only of the intelligence community in Washington, all the politicians, of course, mainstream media, and most of the American public. Selling, of course, well, they've been selling the same idea for 47 years. These mullahs are evil. They are destroying everything. They're a bunch of terrorists. We have to go there and change the regime. 47 years later, it's still the same story. Well, but I would like to switch back to your life experience with the SVO. You have been involved in every important aspect of the SVO. I would like a more personal question, in fact. What are the main lessons that you personally drew out of your extremely vast and detailed experience fighting the SVO?
I think that I will start. For myself, I had a lesson that any war, it's an evil thing. If you can deal without a war, it's better. The best war is the one we have not started. That's the best war. But if we begin a war, we have to understand that not everything will go smooth as we plan, as we draw on paper. We entered the war with one country. At this moment, it's already 4 years almost. It's another country that we have, another state. Of course, we have one of the best armies, fighting armies, the most powerful army, most modern army. And when somebody says, how come they move slow? How come they still didn't take over the cities? Of course, when we fight one country, the whole bloc of NATO, to say that we can take over, it wouldn't be the right thing to do. And it would pull some, for all of us, we would lose a lot of people's resources concerning the war itself. The forms and methods, they have changed. We have all started to fight the war, a drone war, robotics. And yes, we know that war is always as a very strong progressive for the whole humanity, because war brings new mechanics, processes, procedures for our economies to work. And people started looking at their own economical state, at their military state, and we see already being in a war, we have a great tactics, great experience, we have changed. Again, we want to say that today the war is made not just on a front line. A huge volume of war takes place in internet resources. They can do a bad man out of a good man, and a good man out of the bad man. And the answer to what you said now, that in America they brainwash the people for 47 years, yes, they do it longer than 47 years. Brainwash in the United States, it's like an industrial level. People think every day when they watch TV, internet resources, that the best people in the world is Americans, the best management is American, and the best state is America. Though America is a state that is a predator, that they exist all these years because they're eating others, pumping out the resources, taking out the millions and millions of other countries. And when people living in America, there are also people that lost because they're constantly being zombied when they don't understand what takes place in the world. We shouldn't be surprised at that, because a great work is done in America to zombie the Americans, and we understand the situation. But the influence of American mass media to the humanity is great. It's very serious. So we have to understand that if before we were talking about that we have to have a power over sky, water, and land, now we actually say that we have space in line and internet resources. That's more serious, more spread out. I think that fighting today, if you don't have a good possibility to lighten up the situation, who you are, who you fight for, physically it's impossible. So I think that humanity is in a new phase, and it's all in all of these aspects. And the war that America will have with Iran, it also has a very strong, powerful aspect. Take a look at how they prepare the human people, the humans on the planet of Earth. It has no conscience. They pull their military tankers, fully put the pressure in the region, making the people come out on the streets against the leadership of Iran. And when that didn't work out, they already want to bomb the people. Wait a minute, it's not human way. But look how they sell it to you. That's the point.